Well, I'm going to do a little tutorial about bottles from regional areas, certain regions of the country. I've dug all over the country, from California to New Jersey, from Maine to Florida. So I've been around with the bottles, and I've come across a lot. I'm going to focus on the New England bottles once I lived up in New England. I dug a lot of bottles up there, and I came across quite a few actually, and I'm going to cover a few of them here, the ones that I'm finding out some information on. Let's start with the most common New England bottle, and that is Cleco Club. Now, Cleco Club, everybody knows this bottle. If you're a digger, you might have found it at one time. They were the largest, one of the largest manufacturing of ginger ale in the country in the 1920s. The only other company that would have been more popular than Cleco Club probably would have been either Canada Dry or Cascade, one of those. But this was a big one. Miles, Massachusetts. I think it was founded in 1885. And it became Cleco Club probably just a little after that, and it had a large distribution. This is a machine-made bottle, probably made in the 1918, 1920. So this is a common, the most common you're going to find for like New England bottles. The next one's going to be a New York bottle. Actually, it's a Brown's. The one and only. This is a celery tonic bottle. They were popular in New York City area, New Jersey. You'd find them in all the Jewish delis. For some reason, the Jewish culture really fell into the tonic properties of celery. So it was a popular bottle, and you find this bottle probably goes back to the 1940s. So they were around quite a long time. Here's an interesting bottle. Simpson Springs, another South Eaton. This company's still around. They still produce mineral water, and they were very popular. 1885, I believe, was there, or 88, somewhere in that area. I think they were first bottled over this actual spring, and it's still going and strong. This is a machine-made bottle, probably, I'd say, 1915 to 1930s even. Being around so long, they probably kept their bottles in a pristine state. Puritan. Here's another interesting bottle, not around too long. It also comes from Miles, Massachusetts, probably taken over by our friend Cleco Club after a while. But this is not a machine-made bottle. This is blown in the mold. It is tooled neck, and it has a great logo on that, and it's turning purple. As you can see, it's a sort of a 10-pin kind of shape, not too common. Let's go here. Let's go with some obscure stuff. Now, I found this in New England, but it's not a New England bottle. It's an English bottle. It's called Dog's Head, London, England, and it was probably in 1920s. I would assume it's a machine made, which 20s or 30s, these bottles that come out of England that are machine made were pretty late. They still made handmade bottles up through the 1920s. So finding a machine made bottle like this, I would say it was probably late 30s or early 30s, 1920s. Other than that, here's a beautiful bottle. This Berry Springs Pawtucket. It is right not too far from Boston. This was a spring water bottle. This is very common. Another machine-made bottle, probably from the 1920s. Beautiful bottle. I like the color of it, and it was around way back in the 1910, 1911. So this bottle probably goes back to about 1915. I looked for Ace. Now this little ginger, I like ginger beer, that's what I drink. And this bottle is common in some circles. 1930s is probably where I'm dating this bottle. The mid-30s, they were common, these little short stubbies. This is a Philadelphia bottle, actually. I believe it's from Philly. And you'll find them, they're not that common though. Although they were produced quite a number of years, you won't find them readily available. Here's a great one. Moose Hill Tonic. Now this is from a town called Swampscott, Mass. Not too far from Boston, but you know, this is a machine-made bottle, believe it or not. From what I can gather, I think it is. Yes, it is. It's a machine-made. You can barely see the seam. Early machine-made, so I put this around 1915 to 1920. Has a moose head on there, as you can see. Popular bottle, if you can find it, although it isn't very common. Swampscott's a tiny town, so I don't think they produce too many of these bottles. And what do we have last but not least? Let's just pull out one here that is pretty obscure. Newburyport, Mass. I dug a lot of bottles out of this little town. It's just a great place to dig. It's right on the Penobscot River, and it is a cool little a tombstone slug plate. That is a tooled lip. Not much information on Mr. Hunt. There were bigger bottlers around that overshadowed him. Let me find one that is a Newburyport that is more popular. Norton, do we have a Clearys here? Yes, here's a Clearys. This guy's from Newburyport. Most people are familiar with the stoneware bottle with the crown top that they put out back in about, oh, I'd say 1910. This one goes back to about 1910 probably also, but it's a glass version, and it is also a tooled lip, and he was pretty popular. As a matter of fact, his daughter died not too long ago, about 30 years ago. She was a doctor, and she carried on the tradition of being in the health profession. Apparently that was a soda. Now here's the last bottle I want to show, and there's nothing special about this bottle except one thing. It is totally plain. It has a beautiful little blob on it. It's a turn mold. It probably had a paper label. But why I collect this bottle? Because it is so pristine in its shape and in its form. I mean, nothing on it, and it probably even had a paper label, if that. I'd say it's an American bottle, so I just like bottles. They don't have to have anything on them. They don't have to have big names or beautiful embossing, you know, to be a beautiful bottle. I'm a bottle collector, and that is what I look for. Nice looking bottles. I have a whole bunch of other bottles down here, as you can see. They're all different. If you look at this one here, everybody knows this bottle. People love these bottles. I find them all the time. They are not as common as they used to be. Blob, round bottom. What else? Here's another bottle. This is a Philly bottle, Wolf's Head. I just liked it because it's a machine-made bottle. You know, it's machine crown, but it's got a nice logo on there, the wolf registered with the eagle, and it's a brewery, it's a beer bottle. So there you have it, some common bottles that I've dug within the area where I used to live in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, and there's tons of this stuff out there up in New England. Maybe not so many now. I mean, with the advent of metal detecting, people are going out and now even picking up bottles. Most metal detectors know diddly about glass, so they're usually got a big question mark in front of them when they pick this stuff up. They're looking for coins, they're looking for valuable items, and I don't think they see bottles as valuable as more a novelty than anything else. It's just a byproduct of their version of treasure hunting. But there's still stuff out there, you just gotta look. The stuff that I'm showing you today, probably not as common as it used to be. Well, there you go, a little bit about New England bottles. Good luck on there finding them, and have a great day. Thank you.